So you want to know what the problem is with dating? I can tell you what the problem is. The problem is it's all online now, so there's no way you can stand out at all. There's literally no way you can stand out. Everything is rigged against you, and the women have way too much power to select. Guys are gonna have to change what they're doing, because they're basically swiping on every single woman and hoping that they get a match. Meanwhile, the woman, you know, can be very selective on the type of guy she's after, and then can match with a very high percentage of those dudes. So if you're just a normal guy, you're never even gonna get a chance. You just won't. And even if you do, like for example, whenever I've gone on those apps, you might get a match. You know, for every 100 swipes, you might get a match with someone. Most of the time, the woman is not going to message you, and if she does, it's going to be like, hey, and then you say, oh, hey, how's it going? What are you doing on this Sunday afternoon? Or something like that. And nothing will be their response. And they just don't have much to say, you know. You know, you try to ask them about what they're doing, try to offer maybe something to do, they basically have no interest. And these are the people that match with you. So people are really picky. I can understand it as a woman, you wanting to be picky, but men have to be picky too, right? Because if you're allowing the women to be so picky, you know, you're basically saying you'll be with any woman, and you're just giving them the ability to just say no to everyone, and people keep coming. But as a man, right now, you know, we can't really say no to, if we say no to a woman that might match with us, we have nothing else, right? So what they're doing is they're just not playing the game anymore. They just don't want to participate, and why would you? You know, it's very low return on an investment. You know, you don't even get anyone who, you know, and a lot of women will just do it so they can get validation. They have no intention to actually like get to know anyone or even really meet with people, unless it's maybe a really attractive guy that they find attractive. But they'll match with people just to think, oh, you know, he's pretty good looking, let me swipe yes on him. Oh, I matched with him, awesome. And then they don't ever say anything to him, even if he says something. So I mean, I understand that, but it's kind of like more of a waste of time than anything. I mean, you're giving women, we are giving women validation by participating in that app, right? It just doesn't make sense. You know, I can count on I don't think I've ever had like a meaningful conversation with someone on a dating app ever, because it's just, they don't know who you are, you don't know who they are. I feel like they have nothing real to offer. They never propose anything fun to do. They never really have an interesting question. And they expect you to do everything. You know, they expect you to keep following up with them. They expect you to ask them interesting questions, you know, to propose things to do. You're definitely going to have to pay for it if we meet up. It's just way too much, you know. Maybe in the age where I would get at least some attention, then maybe I would do that. But it's so hard to get anything nowadays, because it's partially men's fault, right? Because they'll give women attention because they drool over women. You need to stop doing that, because it gives them all the power, and they become so selective that they'll never want to settle down with anyone or even really get to know someone, because they have so many people that are new constantly contacting them. It's like I said, it's like just playing a different video game all the time. You know, it's not the best analogy, but you know, if you only had one video game, you know, most people would say I'd want to play like a new video game like every couple weeks. So that's what they do. You know, they have so many options that they just never really want to get to know you and never really want to settle down. And even if they think they do, you know, someone better looking comes along, and before you know it, you're kicked to the curb. And men, you know, that's what happens with women when they're in their 20s and 30s, early 30s. But as soon as they hit 30 and like 35, you know, they don't look as attractive, and you know, there's a lot less men giving them attention because men have kind of matured. You know, they're no longer 22, 25, 26. They're 35, 40, and they don't have the same, you know, maybe sexual drive as they did when they were 20. And women that are 35, you know, statistically, you know, they're not as attractive as women that are 25 to the average guy. And that's just probably true. And so men that are 30, 35, 40 are going after women that are 20, 25, 26, 27. And so the women that are 35, they feel a little left out. They feel maybe a little, hey, do I really, you know, am I still attractive? Do people still find me? Do people still want me? I need validation from people telling me I'm great and then I look good and all this stuff. And they're not getting it, right? So now those are the profiles you see. It's just so funny how this works, because it's just true. It's just human nature. They no longer have all the options. So instead of putting nothing on their dating profile, you know, now they actually have a real dating profile, because they realize I no longer wanted for the way I look. So now they actually have a real dating profile. They're 35, and the real dating profile is tired of playing games. You know, maybe I have 2 or 3 kids. They are my world. I have a dog too. I love my dog. I'm a nurse, and I am tired of all the F-boys out there and just want something that's real. Where are all the real men at? And that's what she'll have. But what she doesn't realize is that she spent the last 10 years literally doing that. She spent the last 10 years being a F girl, okay? Not respecting guys, kicking guys to the curb because she knew she had 5 other guys lined up. Now she wants someone to settle down with her. And so it's very hypocritical. It makes sense because it's human nature, right? When humans have options, it's hard for them to settle down. When they don't have options, they want to they do want to settle down with the first good thing that comes along, because they realize if they don't, they might have literally nothing for the rest of their life. And so that's what a lot of women face when they get kind of to an undesirable age. For most men are no longer really interested in you. Definitely not men your own age. You know, men that are 45 or 50 might be interested in you, but they're probably not going to want to have a family. You know, because they haven't had a family their whole life, so it's very unlikely they're going to want to start at 45 or 50. Or maybe they've already been divorced and they just don't want to do that again. They don't want to get married or have a kid, or, you know, have child support or anything like that again. So it's, you know, women know that probably. They internally know that, you know, my looks at some point are going to go away, and I probably should be looking for the right type of guy when I'm 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. But so many of them don't. You know, it's like letting the good times roll. So they're just kind of playing the game, and then before they know it, the game has ended and they're no longer really a part of it. No one's willing to, you know, to put up with your stuff and to chase you around and basically be such a pleaser for you. You know, that goes away when you're no longer a supermodel or have really good looks, because and that really shouldn't exist anyway. You know, why are you as a man gonna bend over backwards for any woman if she's not at least respectful of what you're doing and reciprocating to some degree what you're doing? If you're not getting any attention or any appreciation or any sort of respect from her, no matter how good looking the person is, you should just walk away from it, because you're just doing a disservice to men in general, right? You're making it so much harder for an honest person to get any sort of attention from the opposite sex. So those are kind of my thoughts on it, and I know it's pretty similar to what a lot of what the Better Bachelor guy says. And I'm not saying the right person isn't out there, but just in general, I think the average woman has a lot of expectations when really she doesn't have a lot to bring. Like if she looked at herself and said, what do I really have to offer to a guy? I don't know what a lot of them would say. They're like, well, I'm funny and I'm I'm cute and I'm hot and I'm sexy and I'm the life of the party. It's like, okay, well, what kind of happens when you're not cute anymore and you're not maybe easygoing as you used to be? What do you really have? You know, nothing. And that's just another thing too. It's like, you know, as a guy, I feel like we're always expected to do stuff. We're always expected to have the plans. We're always expected to pay for stuff. You know, we're expected to drive everywhere. We're expected to buy the food at the restaurant, to pay for the hotel, to pay for the trips, to pay for the gas, to pay for everything, you know. And I wouldn't have a problem doing that in theory, like if the woman was actually appreciative of it, but most of the time they're not. Like, they just don't care. They literally just like expect that that is something that's going to be covered, and it doesn't even cross their mind that they're like that's an expense. It's like, oh, you have to buy gas, you have to, you know, pay for this vacation we're going on, you have to, you know. It's like, if you don't do that stuff, if you don't have a bunch of plans lined up or this or that, then they get bored with you. And it's like, well, what are you offering to do? What are you planning to do? You have nothing. You have no idea. And then you say, oh, I'm bored. I want to go do something. I'm bored. Okay, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know. Surprise me. Well, I'm fine just kind of hanging here, doing whatever I'm doing, right? Well, oh my gosh, do you not care about me? You don't want to do special things for me and have these special plans for me? Again, when do you ever have special things planned for me, right? Why should I always be the one that's going the extra mile and making all the plans and worshiping you? Like, I'm done. From the beginning, I never even wanted to do that. That's what women expect, though. But now that most men are figuring that out, okay, they're not putting up with it. So maybe it will make women kind of realize they should be better, just human beings in general. Like, treat someone that you're dating as like an actual human being, you know. Because if you do something nice for someone and they don't appreciate it, and they really don't appreciate it, they're never going to appreciate it. It's just not in their DNA to appreciate it, right? Especially if it's someone like you're dating or something. Like, they should be the first ones that would be appreciative of what you're doing. And if they're not, guys, you're just, you know, you're barking up the wrong tree. It's a waste of your time. She's never going to be satisfied. You're really just like an entertainment like ticket for her. We're gonna go see a movie, we're gonna go to the restaurant, you know, I'm gonna buy new clothes. It's just you're just temporarily like kind of renting time with her, because she thinks her time is worth, you know, you got to do all these things for her. And it's just a joke, you know. Everything in any relationship, whether it's with guys or girls, it should be very close to even, you know. You're paying for this, I pay for that. You know, if you do something for me, I do something for you, etc. If it's so one-sided, you know, if one person's getting taken advantage of and they don't really care because they're happy to just have a friend, that person needs to realize, hey, they're not really your friend. You know, are they really your friend because they like you? Or are they really your friend because you do stuff for them, or you give them stuff? And I would say that most of those like relationships or friendships are unfortunately kind of like where one person is doing something for someone else, or they're using the other person for something, right? And some of it might just be attention, like they're bored, no one's talking to them, so they like having someone to talk to, or, you know, it's that. And the guy's, you know, getting strung along thinking he has some sort of connection. So that's all I'm going to talk about. It's just kind of ridiculous. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Give it a like or a dislike. I don't care at this point. I really don't. Anyways, have a good day.